It's the last weekend of domestic soccer in Europe before we break for the international break. Now, last week, maybe I went a little too crazy with 4 different parlays with 12 games. We had a bunch of teams get upset or fail to even get a goal, going 1-3. Now, we still have a 15-8 overall record in these weekend soccer picks. So let's keep it simple this week with 2 parlays covering just 5 different games. Let's get it started right now. We're going to go over to the Bundesliga with Augsburg and Hoffenheim. Now, these teams are some of the highest scoring games in the league, as their games both average 4.1 goals per match. Now, that's only behind Darmstadt with 4.6, Bayern Munich with 4.5, and Gladbach with 4.2. Now, Hoffenheim, they're 9-1 to bets on over 2.5. Augsburg is 8-2 to bets on over 2.5. They're both a perfect 10-0 to just going over 1.5, so 2 or more goals in a game. Now, in the Bundesliga, Hoffenheim has scored in all 10 games. They've also conceded in 9 of 10. Bets on both teams to score and both teams to score and over 2.5 are 9-1. Their last 5 games, the scores have been 3-2, 3-2, 3-1, 3-2, and 3-1. Augsburg, they started slow in the Bundesliga with just 1 win in 7, but their form has improved lately. Their last 3 games have been a 1-1 draw, and prior to that, 3-2 and 5-2 wins. They've scored in 8 of 10. They've also conceded in all 10. Bets on both teams to score is 8-2, and both teams to score in over 2.5 is 7-3. In 17 of the past 19 home games going back to last season, Augsburg have also scored a goal. This one looks like we should see plenty of goals like we do in many Bundesliga games. You could probably go both teams to score in over 2.5. I'm just going to go both teams to score on its own as one leg of this 2-leg parlay. And the second leg will come in Spain with Rayo Vallecano and Girona. These are two teams that are off to impressive starts in La Liga. They'll meet here on Saturday. Girona are leading the entire league right now at 10-1-1 and even 2 points ahead of Real Madrid. Now, Rayo Vallecano, they just played Real Madrid last week and they drew 0-0, so they too are stepping up and playing well even against the good teams. They're 9th though at 4-6-2, so middle of the table. Both teams have been average over 1 goal scored, are seeing an average of over 1 goal scored and allowed this season. Girona have scored 29, they've allowed 15, and Vallecano have scored 14 and allowed 15 in their 12 games so far. Now at 3.7 goals per match, Girona's games are the 3rd highest, right behind Almeria and Granada at 3.8. For those teams, their averages are brought up, though, by the fact that they concede so many goals themselves versus necessarily scoring a lot. Girona, though, are actually the highest scorers in La Liga right now. So you can usually count on them to score and also not keep things super tight at the back. Now, outside of a 3-0 home loss to Real Madrid, they've scored in every other game this season in all competition, not just La Liga. Their last 2 games, both wins on the road, were 4-2 over Osasuna in La Liga and 2-1 over San Roque Lepe in the Copa del Rey. Both teams' scores now hit in 6 of 7 road games this season in all competitions, so too as both teams to score in over 2.5 in 5 of 7 on the road. For Vallecano, they started the season with 2 road wins, 2-0 road wins, and suffered back-to-back losses. But since that time, they're now undefeated in 8 games in La Liga and 9 games overall. In those 9 games, they've scored in 7, failing to do so twice on the road in Madrid and Cadiz. Going back to last season, Rayo have scored in 13 of 15 home games. Last year, these teams played to 2-2 draws in La Liga, and Rayo won 2-1 in the Copa del Rey, so they do have a history of seeing goals between them. So far this season, they are both in good form. They're both scoring. They're both letting in goals. We'll go both teams to score there, so both teams to score with Rayo Vallecano and Girona, both teams to score with Augsburg and Hoffenheim in the 2-game parlay, which comes in at plus 153 odds. So give this video a like and subscribe for more soccer content all season long, as well as picks in other sports while you're listening to this video. Before we get into the next parlay, that would be a lot of help. Moving into that next parlay, going back to the Bundesliga, and we'll also go to the EPL in parlay number 2. But starting off, it's on Sunday, and it's Bayer Leverkusen and Union Berlin. The most exciting team in the Bundesliga right now is Leverkusen. They're hosting one of the more disappointing teams this season in Union Berlin on Sunday morning. Leverkusen left it late, but they did beat Karabag 1-0 on Thursday in the Europa League. Now, in all competitions this season, they're now 15-1-0 with a 2-2 draw, with Bayern being their only non-win, which makes them arguably one of the best teams and hottest teams in all of Europe, not just Germany. That Europa League game was the first time they failed to score multiple goals in any game this season. They're first in the Bundesliga, while Union Berlin are sitting in a relegation spot right now in 16th at 2-0-8, scoring 11 and allowing 22. They've very much fallen off since their rise to the top, near the top of the table last season. Now, Berlin got a surprise road draw in Italy versus Napoli in the Champions League on Wednesday. That snapped a run of 12 straight losses in all competitions, where they allowed multiple goals in 8 of 12 games, and they were shut out in 9 of 12 games. Can't really go against Leverkusen right now the way they're playing. They have not lost a game yet. They're playing at home. Berlin has not now won a game in 13. We're going for a Leverkusen win to kick off this parlay, and we will go next to the Premier League, and it's Liverpool and Brentford. Now, Liverpool, they just suffered a shock 3-2 defeat in France to mid-tier side Toulouse in the Europa League on Thursday. That's just their second loss in all competitions this season. They'll certainly be looking to turn things around back at home this weekend. In all competitions this season, they are 12-3-2. In those 17 matches this season, both teams to score has cashed at a 13-4 clip. Now, if you go back further, they now have just 2 losses in 28 games across all competitions. In the EPL, they've scored 24 goals in 11 games, but they've also allowed a goal in 10 of 11. Liverpool are 8-3 to over 2.5 totals. They're 11-0 to over 1.5. Brentford also usually see at least 2 goals in their matches. They're 10-1 themselves to seeing at least 2 goals in a game. Brentford is riding a 3-game winning streak right now, 3-2, 2-0, and 3-0 in the EPL, so they're certainly finding their scoring form. In all competitions, they've also scored in 11 of 13. They've conceded, though, in 10 of 13. Bets on both teams to score are 8-5. And the last meeting last year was just a 1-0 Liverpool win at Anfield. The previous scores were 3-1 Brentford, 3-0 Liverpool, and 3-3. This does, if you were betting it on its own, probably looks like there's a chance for both teams to score. Both teams scoring over 2.5. But in this simple parlay, I'm just going to ask for 2 goals. So it could be 1-1. It could be 2-0 for somebody. We'll go Liverpool-Brentford over 1.5. And the final leg will come in the big match between Chelsea and Man City. Now, City won 1-0 at home and away last year in the EPL and 4-0 at home in the FA Cup. They've now won 6 straight versus Chelsea in all competitions. The goals are usually hard to come by when these teams meet, with the under 2.5 being on a 6-1 run. So that could be a good bet. Single bet by itself if you wanted to bet the under. Chelsea, they beat Tottenham on Monday 4-1 on the road in the EPL, which makes them 5-1-1 in all competitions right now. But otherwise, if we just look at the EPL, Chelsea have just 4 wins, and the other 3 have come against weaker opposition, such as Burnley, Fulham, and Luton. Now they get the champs and the current league leaders, who are 9-2, and they've scored 28 goals and just 8 allowed with Man City. City rolled over Young Boys in the Champions League on Tuesday. They've won 5 in a row in all competitions, and they've only been held off the score sheet once in the EPL, and that was away to Arsenal. Like I said, if you wanted to bet this game by itself, maybe an under, anytime you can get Man City around -130, -140, that's probably a good bet on its own as well. But it's not how we do these parlays. We're just looking to try to cash something simple. So I will just ask Man City just to get a goal here to round up this parlay. It's Man City to score, Liverpool and Brentford over 1.5, and a Bayer Leverkusen win. So those are my picks, but there are tons of other games across all the leagues in Europe this weekend. Let me know what you're betting down in the comments. Give this video a like if you haven't already, and good luck with all of your soccer picks this weekend.